KCJJ Weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply, kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
HawkFanatic.com is brought to you by Patrick Eads and the staff at Deary Brothers Ford on Mormon Trek. Steve Anderson, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Mike Seakeys for Cars. GT Car and his great crew at Supple's Building and Remodeling. Supple's Flowers, the home of 1-800-800-ROSE. The Midtown, I don't know what's with me today. The Midtown Family Restaurants. I can't get over this thing. Dirk Sterner, Taxidermy. Hertine and Stocker Jewelers, 101 South Dubuque Street, downtown Iowa City. Diamond Dreams Sports Academy. Senior Benefits. Premier Automotive in North Liberty. The Oxyoke Inn in the Amanas. Streets Maintenance. Dr. Lance Forbes, Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids. And Big Dog Tech Solutions. Jim Hunter for Tom Suter. He's gone all week. And Pat Hardy from HawkFanatic.com with Coach Don Patterson.
Boy, if you can't think of a better way to finish off a season than an old-fashioned beatdown of a rival, I can't. Can you, Coach Don?
No, that was a good way to finish up our regular season, that's for sure, Jim.
So, Don, what'd you think of Nebraska?
Well, if I'm a Nebraska fan, I am discouraged.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but notice, Pat. You're talking about a mass exodus there, and I don't know, late third quarter, fourth quarter?
Mm-hmm.
People are like, I'm out of here.
I know a couple of people that were there, and they did the exact same thing. They said when it became obvious that Nebraska had no chance of winning, I mean, they were competitive at the beginning, but I just think Iowa just is a better team. Wouldn't you say, in pretty much every area there? I mean, they've got a really good running back. He is good, and my God, he was good in the first half, but Phil obviously made some adjustments, held him to 40 yards in the second half.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I remember these numbers, Pat. After one quarter, we'd given up 179 yards full offense.
It was amazing.
The rest of the game, we gave up in three quarters 121.
Yeah.
So we did adjust. You're right. He is an exceptional back.
He is.
He probably will be first team all Big Ten, I would think.
I would think so.
And yet they didn't have much to go with him.
And I believe he's from Minneapolis too.
Team.
He's from Minneapolis. Interesting that he got out of Minnesota, a program that's been known to run the ball, but no, he was really good. Now, the Iowa passing attack? I mean, Don, is it one of these things, Don, where maybe they just needed a little bit more time than one season to get it to start clicking with Gronowski? I mean, granted, the stats were still not great Saturday, but they're starting to complete more downfield pass. I think Vanderzee's starting to figure things out with Gronowski. Unfortunately, they have one game left.
Yeah, you're right. It took a while to really put all the pieces together. But the thing that plays me, let me mention this, Pat. Going into the game, I looked at all 8 conference games that Nebraska had played,
mm-hmm.
and there were 6 parameters that were won by the winning team, 7 of those 8 games. And my only advice to the coaches was, you better win more of these 6 than they do, otherwise you're not going to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
We won 5 out of 6.
Okay.
And obviously the results speak for themselves. Incidentally, the one they won, they were not. It was important to get the first touchdown because the winning team had done that in 7 out of 8 games.
Really, I did not realize that.
Yeah, lo and behold, of course, Nebraska gets the first touchdown, but that's the only one of the 6 they won. The other 6, just to give you an idea, total offense, we actually outgained them.
Yeah.
Super explosive plays. We did far better there, too. I think it was 3-1, as I recall.
Mm-hmm. 2 of them to the tight end.
Yeah, 3-1. They had the 70-yarder, but we had 3 that were in the 30s and 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 of those 3 were by Nami, as I recall.
Yeah, no, I'm saying redshirt freshman, former walk-on, he is really showing a knack for gaining yards after the catch. And They were saying that on TV, Kirk said at first they didn't know if he could be able to handle the blocking. They always thought he was going to be a playmaker. But now they say he's blocking well enough, too, to go with that. He looks like he could, not saying he's going to be their next star, but you got to feel pretty good about this kid, don't you, Don?
Yeah, I never had a conversation with him until, I believe it was just this past week. It was either this past week or 2 weeks ago, I can't remember. And I just told DJ, I said, DJ, you know who Marv Cook is, don't you? He said, oh, yeah, Coach. And I said, well, you understand how to play. You play a lot like Marv. When you have a chance to turn down the field, you're not going to lumber down the field. You're going to sprint down the field. Keep doing that because that separates you from a lot of tight ends who can only lumber. And he did that. He did it twice.
And that's Sam Laporta did the same thing early on. And remember, Sam was a wide receiver in high school, and I think that helped him. He stood out right away. I remember as a freshman, he made a couple catches, and boom, next thing you know, he's going downfield just like this kid. Now, I will say, I thought Tim Lester had I thought he made some nice play calls where he completely had Nebraska's defense off balance. A lot of those,
Absolutely.
Talk about those, Don.
Absolutely.
With Bonami especially.
The one I really love to say, talk about a good concept, it was a double cut, but not for an outside receiver, for a tight end. Mm-hmm. He ran a stop and go, and I can't remember the down and distance, but it was an ideal call. We were going in, it was a 35-yard touchdown. But what made it go, the fact that we double cut the man coverage, and I give DJ credit, a lot of young players, they get so excited about a double cut that they rush it. They don't sell the underneath route.
Yeah.
And if you don't sell the underneath route, then you have no chance to win over the top. But he did a good job of selling it, and the defender bit, and it was over at that point. It wasn't even close. It was a well-thrown ball. You've heard me say before, don't overthrow receivers that are open deep downfield. And Mark made a nice soft throw. He put it up so that DJ could just run under it.
Yeah, no, it was a good play all around, call, execution, everything. Now, if I'm a Nebraska fan, I mean, I thought their redshirt freshman quarterback looked overwhelmed, number one, by the Iowa defense, but number two, by the weather. He didn't seem to be comfortable that whole game. What'd you think?
Yeah, I haven't been sold on him really yet. And it's simply this. There was a game, you might recall, he was 13 from 15,
yeah.
and I think it was Michigan State.
Uh-huh.
But the difference, they threw only when they chose to throw. They didn't throw because they had to throw. But against Iowa, they had to throw more, and of course, they didn't handle it as well. In those obvious passing situations, it didn't go so well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the poor guy got a little bit banged up too, and that made him a little bit less effective because at that point, he wasn't a great runner either. So I felt a little bit sorry for him that he was out there trying to play when he simply was far less than 100%.
Yeah, you could tell he was in pain, but the next quarterback in line was a former NAIA quarterback. Nothing against NAIA, but that's not the same as Big Ten football on a cold November snowy day in Lincoln. So I give the kid credit for gutting it out, but if I'm a Nebraska fan, I just walk away from that game thinking, okay, we got 7 wins, but man, are we really making a lot of progress? How do you think they're progressing? It's been 3 seasons under Rule. They have a chance; they could win a bowl game and go 8-5. But if you're a Nebraska fan, are you discouraged right now, Don?
Absolutely, I'm discouraged because it relates. What people remember is how you finish.
Okay, good point.
They've kind of limped in here at the end of the season. We have a lot to do with that, of course, with Game 12. But the bottom line, I've got myself asking this question. What is their best win for the year? They benefited from, there were teams in the conference that had much tougher schedules. Trying to think of what their best win would be. Who would it be? Northwestern at home was a win.
Yeah, that was a win. But then I can't get...
Probably Cincinnati.
It probably would be at Cincinnati. And then, of course, they've got that horrible loss at Minnesota. That, to me, was an eye-opener.
Yeah. Well, what you look for, of course, is teams that are consistent from one week to the next instead of riding peaks and valleys all the time. And that's one thing that we typically are able to do. Our effort is pretty consistent from one week to the next.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right.
And you very seldom... hear that expression, we laid an egg. We almost never lay an egg. And this year is a prime example. We are clearly the best 4-loss team in the country.
Oh, and you're right about that. I wrote it could be Kirk's best 8-win team too. He's had a few 8-win teams. If they win 9, it'll be his third 9-4 team. But this team, to me, is better than the previous 9-4 teams because those teams had bad losses. They lost some games to unranked teams. This team does not have a bad loss.
Here's the truth. With those 4 losses, pick any 2 of them. If we could have just won 2 of those 4 games, we would undoubtedly be headed for the playoffs.
I would think so. Now, I will say, though, Don, I was listening to them talk. They were saying that it could come down to like a 10-2 Miami and a 10-2 Notre Dame team going for that 12th spot. And Miami won the head-to-head. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm a Notre Dame fan, but if I'm a Miami fan, it does come down. But what surprises me is that Notre Dame, I think, is ranked 9th. But if Notre Dame, if Notre Dame at 10-2 is having trouble getting in the 12-team playoff, wouldn't Iowa too?
Well, you got to realize we'd have to come up with two more wins in those 4 losses.
Well, no, I understand that. I'm just saying,
any 2 of them would be classified as good wins.
Oh yeah. Let's say they beat Iowa State, and let's say they beat USC. That'd be 10-2. Do you think that would have put Iowa in front of a 10-2 Notre Dame team?
I think when you look at the close loss to Indiana and the close loss to Oregon, yes, I think that would put us in.
Okay, and I will say, I just assumed 10-2 would get about anybody in. This year, though, it may not. Texas thinks they should be in at 9-3, and I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, and it looks like Iowa. AI has Iowa playing Vanderbilt in the Relia Quest Bowl. That would be interesting. Vanderbilt's got that little quarterback with Diego Pavetta or what? Have you seen him play?
Just a little bit, not much.
What were your impressions of him?
Well, I think I think he's mentally tough. He's a real competitor. Of course, a really good runner. So he would present a problem because you got to account for him as a runner too.
You do. But I'll tell you, Don, he would take a beating against Iowa. The way he plays and the way Iowa defends, that would be an interesting matchup. Okay, so you look back at this season, and again, like I said, 8-4 is not what fans wanted, but to me, this team still, there was a lot more good than bad. The what if, how close it was. When you think back to this team, Don, I know it still has a bowl game. What will be the most lasting impression? Is there 1 or 2 things about this team that will stick out the most to you?
I think just honestly going 12 for 12 in terms of displaying a lot of grit and a lot of determination.
Okay.
I know detractors would say, well, wait a minute, because you lost that Indiana game right at the end. And that's true. I got to give Indiana credit. But my gosh, last time I checked, Indiana's number 2 in the country.
And undefeated and just pounding about everybody.
Yeah. If you look at all 12 Indiana games, the one that they were the biggest parallel in was our game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, without question. Yeah. No.
Yeah. If any single game wins Mendoza the Heisman, it would be our game, I'd say.
Yeah.
I guess you could argue that if he lights up
Ohio State. I'll tell you what, Don, that Ohio State quarterback is good. Ohio State's quarterback.
I don't know, do they vote before or after next weekend?
Oh, I vote for it. I believe there's a 48-hour window where I got something in the email. Can't remember. I don't pay attention to my Heisman vote as much as I probably should. But yeah, I believe it's after the games on Saturday. But speaking of that, Mendoza, I'll tell you what, I've been kind of taking this Ohio State quarterback for granted because it's Ohio State. He's pretty good, Don. This Julian saying, he showed me something against Michigan. He throws a nice ball.
He does. He throws a very nice ball. And I give him credit. It seems like he doesn't overlook open receivers that are down the field.
No, he's just so accurate.
That's the mark of a good quarterback, of course. He does a good job of scanning the field.
Mm-hmm.
And even before the snap, he has an idea of where to look and when to look at one receiver to the next. Prime example was that deep post route. That was well considered play. He just laid it right out there, and the guy ran under it.
Yeah.
Another routine cross-country touchdown.
Well, we're looking at the Big Ten now. I mean, it was kind of weird. I didn't even realize it happened yesterday because I was busy doing other stuff. But Jonathan Smith gone, and now the Detroit Free Press is reporting that Pat Fitzgerald is the new Michigan State head coach. Have you seen that, Don?
I heard that rumor. I didn't know if anything was official yet, but
I'm not sure if it's official, but the Detroit papers are reporting it.
I did. Of course, we had a chance to see Michigan State's coach at the end of the year, and I have to admit, he didn't do anything to help himself in our game. He looked like he was really way in over his head. That's about all I could say.
Yeah.
He was on the sideline. He looked like he wasn't very engaged. Didn't really know what to do. That's the impression you get.
I mean, Michigan State shouldn't go. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the decision makers at Michigan State probably came to that same conclusion. This poor guy's not going to be able to lead us out of the wilderness, so we better move on. And having to pay what, $33 million? Is that right?
I haven't read the article yet, but in this day and age, that wouldn't surprise me. There's just so much money. I mean, Lane Kiffin getting 7 years, 12, 13 million. They needed 2 planes to fly his family in from. And Ole Miss fans, it looks like they're not happy. What a mess that is. But the Michigan State situation, it's interesting because to me, there's no reason Michigan State should ever have a season where it doesn't win at least one conference game. I can't believe how fast they fell under him. But, as great as Pat Fitzgerald is, Don, in a lot of ways in people's eyes, they went 4-20 in his last 2 seasons at Northwestern.
I guess I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they were 2.
He's been a thorn in our side when he coached against Iowa.
He was.
He had pretty much even records, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, it's an interesting hire. I can see why they would hire him, but it does come with a little bit of, to me at least, a little bit of question. Do you think he's going to just turn Michigan State into a really good program right away, or what do you think? What's your thought on that?
I think it'll take some time, simply because you've heard me say before that the strength that we have is we always have high character on our roster. I think we put a higher priority on that than most teams. But I will say I'm very impressed with Northwestern's character on their football team even now. And I think you got to give Pat a lot of credit for the kid that is there because he recruited a lot of those guys.
No, you're right about that.
And, so there's a similarity between Iowa and Northwestern. I think the Northwestern fans would say we may match Iowa on character and grit, but we don't have quite as good athletes as Iowa does. And there certainly might be some truth to that.
And one of the last things I will give Fitz credit for, I believe David Braun was one of his last hires. He hired David Braun, I believe, as his defensive coordinator or one of his two before all this stuff before all this stuff broke. And I'll tell you what, David Braun's done a pretty good job to get 6-7 wins consistently out of those teams. I mean, have you been impressed with him so far? He's kind of done it quietly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I like to point out, of course, he was very successful in FCS football before he ever went to Northwestern.
You're right, yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that he's done well because I had Peg as a really good coach when he was at North Dakota State, I think, wasn't it? North Dakota State.
I believe so, yes. Yeah, no, he's done. I had no belief that this team would win 6 games. And I don't even know who ended up winning against Northwestern and Illinois. Who won that?
Illinois.
Illinois did win? Okay.
Illinois beat them. Yeah, it was a typical Northwestern game. They hung in there. It was a one-score game. But in the end, Illinois beat them. Incidentally, talking about tough weather, how about playing a 12th game at night in adverse conditions? That's not good.
It was fun to watch, though.
They're going to think long and hard about having to sit through that.
So that was
night game.
Northwestern Illinois was a night game?
Yes.
Wow. To me, why are you having night games in late November? I mean,
and it was snowing.
I know. I do remember seeing some of the highlights. So Brett won. I think they went 8-4, didn't they? I think they finished 8-4.
Yes.
Okay. I mean,
the thing that sticks in my mind. You remember what one of those losses was? A 50-point loss. To
Indiana, 63-10, I believe it was. Don, that game was over by the end of the first quarter.
And Brett himself even acknowledged we had no answers.
Yeah, and he said, I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, what can you? And then did you see much of the Indiana-Purdue game? I watched. It was sad. I mean, I didn't.
I did. My gosh, poor Purdue. Correct if I'm wrong. Did they go 0 for in conference?
Yep,
play?
2-10. 2-10 and 0 for conference. So did Purdue and Michigan State both not win a conference game? Is that right?
I think you're right. I don't think they played each other.
No, but I can't remember the last time two teams didn't win a game in conference play. But Purdue under Barry Odom, if you're a Purdue fan, I mean, you got to be like, he needs more time. But this, to me, was not a huge step forward. Would you agree?
Well, there were some of those games where they were very competitive.
Very competitive early on, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there were others that weren't competitive, like Indiana, of course. But this is about Indiana, Purdue. If Indiana can beat them by 100, they'll be happy to do so.
Yes. Yeah, see, he doesn't mind. And what he said before and what other coaches say, with the way you got to run up the scores, it's all about positioning yourself for the playoff. But, I mean, some of those plays I watched down, great calls, whatever. But, man, Indiana's just got some really good athletes, really good football players. They're running backs. It's amazing. He gets a guy from Kent State, a defensive lineman, who's now wreaking havoc in the Big Ten. It seems like every piece they add is a great piece.
Yeah. What you got to give them credit for, it appears they do a great job of assessing talent.
Yes.
And the people don't. Hemby, a lot of people didn't think, okay, fine, you got Hemby from Maryland. How's he going to do?
Really well.
Well, it turns out he does pretty well.
Yeah.
And maybe better than he did for Maryland even. And then, of course, Surratt's a good example.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy that wasn't that highly regarded until he got to Indiana. And he's been lighting up people ever since he's been there.
You know what else is interesting, Don, and maybe some Shooter wouldn't like this because he likes the path of least resistance, but you notice you haven't heard Cignetti's name with any of these jobs. Obviously Florida's filled their position. LSU's filled theirs. It's interesting. Do you think Cignetti, he retires at Indiana?
It sounds like it. Maybe the message that he's put out there is you're not going to be able to buy me. No, it doesn't matter how much money you have. I've asked the rhetorical question, how much money do you need?
Yeah.
And I think some coaches feel that way. My gosh, isn't $7 million a year, $8 million a year, $9 million a year, isn't that enough? What makes you think you need 12? I think it's probably the ego associated with I want to be the highest paid.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's part of it. But I don't think Cignetti goes at any price. I think he's grateful to Indiana that they gave him the opportunity to coach in the Big Ten, and he appears to be enjoying life in Bloomington, Indiana.
I'll tell you, they're paying him well. He's making over 8. I think he's making between 8 and 9. But Indiana's got a lot of NIL money, and I'll tell you, that stadium at times has been one of the most depressing places to cover a game. Don, there's times when Indiana's struggling where it's just there's no energy there. Now the place is just rocking. It's amazing what 2 years of winning can do, but I never thought I would see anything like this at Indiana.
It reminds you a lot of Kinnick, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. It really does. Now, Kinnick, though, in fairness, has been built on 40 years of pretty much sustained. Ever since you guys got up here and turned it around, it's been pretty good. There was, at the end of Hayden, there was a little bit, and at the beginning of Kirk, but for the most part, it's been 40 years of pretty solid football. Indiana's been terrible in a lot of years, and he's done this in just 2 years. It's incredible. So what does that show you, though, Don? Is Indiana going to always be used as the blueprint? Well, if they can do it at Indiana, is it going to put more pressure on coaches? Do you think what he's done?
Well, and let me just compare it to our first 3 years at Iowa. As you know, we were in the Rose Bowl in year 3.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, Indiana surpassed that accomplishment by doing what they've done.
Now, they took advantage of the portal rules, though, Don, in fairness.
Don't forget, the rules changed.
Yeah.
Back then, it was harder to do.
Exactly.
Because you couldn't get well overnight with NIL.
No, that was just it. Yeah, that's the big difference between comparing rebuilds back then to now. Cignetti has taken advantage of the circumstances now, whereas you guys, you had to add pieces bit by bit. Now, one thing, and you guys acknowledged it right away when you got here, you guys knew you had a good defense. You knew, there were some good defensive players when you got here. I remember Hayden acknowledging that right away, but Cignetti he's overhauled that whole roster.
Yeah, and speaking of Iowa in year one and year two, I've always gone out of my way to comment about the fact that we won big in year three because of those guys that played in year one and year two.
Sure.
I think of a guy like Jim Mulaney that was recruited by the old staff. We only had Jim for 1 year, but those guys got us started on the right track.
Mm-hmm. No, there was a good
Even in
found.
year one.
Yeah. No,
it was a losing season. We were 5-6, but they started us on the right path. Even though they couldn't be there to finish it, they got us moving in the right direction in year one and year two.
Yeah, and a lot of the key players in 81 and 82, they had suffered from I mean, like Bobby Stoops, he was in my brother's class. They 78, 79, they had been through losing, so they were hungry and completely different situation. But it does show you that it can be done at about anywhere. If Indiana can do it, doesn't that mean about anybody can do this, Don? If you get the right person at the right time, right circumstance.
I think so. You got to get the right guy, though. That's the challenge.
That's the challenge.
Some coaches are not the answer. Other coaches are.
Yeah, no.
And a good AD figures out how to distinguish one from the other. I'll just take you back to what Bump said. Bump knew he wanted Hayden because he'd seen Hayden firsthand in the big house with SMU.
That's right.
You're
right.
That's the guy I want because he does more with less than anybody I've seen.
That's right.
And Signetti, you have to say Signetti has that same profile.
Thinking if you're a Michigan State fan and you're saying to yourself, man, imagine if we would have hired Signetti instead of Jonathan Smith, because they were both hired at the same time, 2 years. Think about it, how different it's gone for those two schools. But at that time, Jonathan Smith, having coached at Oregon State, he probably had a little bigger brand name than Curt Signetti. I didn't even know who Curt Signetti was. I knew who Jonathan Smith was.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And let's face it, the guys that Signetti recruited to Indiana, they would have probably gone to Michigan State if Signetti had recruited them to Michigan State.
Oh, without question, yeah. It would have been probably
the same players.
Yeah, it would have been, very. So if you're Michigan State, and maybe Pat will get it done there. It's going to be an interesting situation, assuming it does happen. It does look like I said, the Detroit papers are reporting.
CBS, New York Times now also.
Okay, so Pat Fitzgerald to Michigan State. That's going to be interesting. If I'm Michigan, and speaking of Michigan, did you watch the Michigan-Ohio State game from start to finish? Did you get to see a lot of it?
I did.
What?
I did. I saw it all.
Ohio State's just a better team, right? I mean, I know they were last year too, but this year, I thought it looked like just Ohio State was at a different level.
Yeah, I think the big difference in Ohio State, even from a year ago, I think their defense was good a year ago, but this year it is off the charts.
It is. It really is.
It's incredible how well they play. I know during analytics, I've already done most of the analytics for the games from last week. Let me just check Michigan, Ohio State. Ohio State had 5 explosive plays, but if you want to go super explosive, they had 3 super explosives compared to Michigan's 1. That's pretty typical. And then how about this for red zone? Michigan only made it into the red zone once, and that time it was a field goal.
Oh, yeah.
So, they just don't give up points.
I thought there's a big difference at quarterback, too. I know Bryce Underwood's got a great upside, tons of talent, but just Sayin throws a much better ball. There's times where I think Bryce Underwood throws too hard. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Touch is something you have to understand.
Yeah.
And some young guys simply don't throw a touch. They're just trying to get the ball to the guy that deserves it the most. But part of the equation, you always heard me talk about, it's all about location on your throws. It's all about time on target.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to get the ball to the right guy with the right kind of pace, and that's the ideal quarterback. And it's all about location because you've always heard me talk about throw it to the guy so he has a chance to run out with the ball.
Exactly.
After the catch. Yeah, you got to. It even gets down. I made this comment about the NFL quarterbacks, the best ones. That ball is probably within a foot of where it should be at all times. That's how accurate they are. It's incredible how accurately some of those guys can throw. But most quarterbacks can't do that, of course. If you can, you get $10 million or $12 million or $15 million per year if you can do it.
Yeah, and the strong arm, of course, helps, but it seems like you throw a lot more.
Talking about Michigan's offense, the thing is so difficult is they're trying to operate, but they don't have a two-dimensional offense. They can run the ball with authority, but they simply can't throw the ball with any kind of efficiency.
Consistency, yeah.
And, yeah, they don't have the efficiency that they need. Yards per attempt is a new measure that I'm going with this year, and that really that's a simple way to measure passing efficiency. Obviously, that doesn't include interceptions, and that's a given that you can't get the ball to the other team. So, we're talking about Ohio State for the season. I think going into last Saturday, they were like 9.8 per attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Every time they let go of the ball, it's more 10 yards.
Now, I will say, in fairness to Michigan, they were down to their third running back. I mean, Justice Hayes didn't even play. And then the kid, the freshman, who was from Ohio, remember, he ripped off that long run right away at the beginning and had Jordan Marshall. But then he hurt his shoulder, so he didn't play much either. And the kid they had playing after them was a walk-on who was okay, but there was just too much of a talent differential. I'll tell you what, though, Don, I would love to see Iowa and Michigan play. I think that would be a good game. I think that would be a real entertaining game, and I think Iowa would win.
I think so. Simply because I give a little more credit to our offensive play caller than their offensive play caller. I don't even know who calls the plays for Michigan, but they don't do as good a job as Tim does, I'll say that. I
know Jamie would disagree with me on that one, but I think it would be a very competitive game because I don't think Bryce Underwood would have a lot of success navigating through Iowa's defense. But, of course, it's not going to happen, so why worry about it? Now, looking at some of these other games, anything else surprise you over this past weekend? Anything stand out to you? I mean, Iowa State had a nice win to go 8-4. I mean, it's not what they were hoping for either, but still, their season could have easily derailed, but he held them together.
Yeah, I think you gotta say this. Iowa State's been more victimized by injuries than the average team.
You're right about that. At key places, too.
Yeah. So I think they did a good job. As a matter of fact, I texted John Haycock right after the game. I said, John, another outstanding job. I'm happy for you guys that you're once again bowl bound. And I think that's true. I think that I don't see how people can be too upset with their coaches or players, because I think they competed hard all year, and they have a profile similar to Iowa.
Yeah,
and I think they recruit high character kids too, and they play hard and they don't want to disappoint their fans, and they very seldom beat themselves.
Yeah, and to win 8 games, I mean, I know it's not what fans want, but especially for Iowa State, given their tradition, that's not a bad season. There is something you can build from that. I wanted to ask you, who do you think wins? I mean, the matchup coming up Saturday, Ohio State. What's your gut feeling right now? I'm going back and forth, but I'm going to pick Ohio State probably. What do you think?
Yeah, if you put a gun to my head, I'd have to go with the Buckeyes. But having said that, I don't even know what the point spread is. But just for the sake of argument, even if the point spread was Ohio State by 3, I'd take Indiana.
Okay, you think it's going to be that close?
Indiana, and I think it'll be a very close game. We know it might not be, but that's what I would predict. I mean, I don't know what else you could predict. 1 versus 2 should be a close game.
It should be. And I will say...
Reminds me of Iowa 12, Michigan 10, and on a last-second field goal. Might be one of those games.
Okay, you think it might be low scoring?
Oh, no, I shouldn't say it that way. I think it might be a kick to win at the end of the game.
Okay.
But I think it's more likely to be, 30-28 or something.
What I'm most interested Go ahead.
I think the offenses will put up points, yeah.
What I'm most interested in seeing is Ohio State's passing attack against Indiana's pass defense, because that's going to be an interesting development throughout that game, because Indiana's got maybe one of the best cornerbacks in all of college football, and we know Ohio State's. And with the Sand playing inside, the conditions are going to be perfect to throw it. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's got a chance for the Big Ten to really show. Do we know what the spread is?
5.5
for Ohio State.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that surprise you?
I'd take Indiana.
Okay, I probably would too. I do think it could come down to a field goal. And
I probably shouldn't say that because I don't want people to go out and put money on Indiana now and blame me. But.
Well, it's too late for that. They're already rushing. But it's going to be interesting. Running the ball, I think, is going to be pretty important. And Ohio State, they haven't been great at that at times this year, but they've got this freshman, Bo Jackson, imagine that name, who's starting to emerge.
Yeah.
And to me, when Ohio State runs the ball, Don, they're almost unbeatable. I mean, if they become that balanced.
And I do think their running game's improved as
Yes.
they went on. I think in the first half of the season, they really didn't run the ball as well, nearly as well as they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's gotten a little better over the season. And that's what should happen. Of course, you should be able to develop your players, whether they be in the backfield or up front in the offensive line.
And it will be interesting to see what Cignetti has in store for Ohio State's defense. Because are you convinced that Indiana is going to be able to run the ball effectively on Ohio State?
Well, it looks to me like they'll have it. I think that's going to be hard for anyone to do. I'm talking about anyone in the playoffs.
Okay.
Ohio State, that's the most. My gosh, how many touchdowns have they given up over an entire season?
Yeah, it's incredible.
I think you can almost count them on one hand, right?
Yeah, no, this is by far the best Ohio State defense I've seen. They talk about this Arvell Reese guy, who I hardly knew anything about. He's played himself into being a first-round pick. He's like a 6'4", 250 linebacker there, and he benches 400, runs a 4.5, all the Ohio State credentials. But no, you're right. What I would like to see is Ohio State's defense against Notre Dame's running game. That would be, and we might, we may see that in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's going to be. I'll say this: I'm glad I don't have to figure out how to buy a ticket for the game, because I think that ticket's going to cost you an arm and a leg.
Yes, it's going to be. No, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that game, and I know we're getting into basketball season here. Men play Michigan State tomorrow, but Don, when you look back at Gronowski's season, I know there's been some ups and downs, but how would you, as a former offensive coordinator, former head coach, quarterback coach, how would you evaluate his performance this year? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know you think highly of Mark, and there's more to being a quarterback than just passing. I get it. How would you evaluate what he's done this year?
Well, I'm proud of Mark. Incidentally, I think Mark played his best game of the year at Nebraska.
I do too. I agree.
I just like the way he played with a lot of poise, a lot of patience. Didn't force anything. It never looked like he went into panic mode and tried to run around and figure out what to do with the ball. He just was really locked in and processing where the ball should go. If he needed to pull it down or needed to throw it away, he did that to avoid sacks. Incidentally, Mark is underestimated as a runner. He's not going to be too flashy running down the field, but he's strong enough. He pulls through obstacles sometimes.
He does, yeah.
Pulled through several of them against Nebraska when they really had him dead to rights, and they simply couldn't get him on the ground. Maybe it was a cornerback trying to tackle a guy that outweighed him by more than a few pounds.
Well, Don, you stood next to Mark. He's a big kid.
Yeah, Mark's got solid upper body strength.
He does.
For that matter, good strong legs. So, he's above average as a runner. He's not real flashy, but he runs to daylight. He's able to get the hard yard if he needs to. On a critical down, if he needs to put his pads down and fight through a tackle, he'll do it. And he was just very pleased with how he played. I think he was, my guess is he was graded out maybe the best he did in the entire season with that performance. And again, it was in a hostile environment.
No, you're right, yeah.
Let's face it, that was not a great start for Iowa football. They scored first, and now it's 10-10 after one quarter, and they're on pace to have over 700 yards of offense.
Yeah.
But
Adjustments.
That wasn't going to happen because Phil's going to make adjustments, and they're going to figure it out as a defensive staff, and they're going to do a good job of taking away what's been hurting them. But I do give a lot of credit to the back. I think Emmett's a really solid back.
He is.
And he'll make a lot of defenses look bad because he does a good job of breaking tackles and fighting for yards, too.
Speaking of Iowa quarterbacks, Jackson Stratton announced yesterday that he is entering the transfer portal. Not a surprise. I mean, he's from California. He's buried on the depth chart. He had his little 15 minutes of fame or whatever you want to call it. But you're not surprised by that, are you, Don? I mean,
no, I'm not. And I'll say this, and you've heard me say it before. I remember vividly after that UCLA game last year. Of course, that was a disappointing loss for us. But I looked up Stratton and I said, Stratton, you need to know this. And just so you know, I do have an idea of how quarterbacks should play because I used to coach quarterbacks. You didn't cost us a game at all. You played just fine. We lost the game, but we lost the game because UCLA ran the ball down our throats.
Exactly.
And I'm proud of you for how you played, because you played without a lot of game time. You know, you just went out there and did a good job. I think you'll make somebody a good quarterback, because you might know this from talking to some of the players. Jackson Stratton can sling a football.
No, he can definitely do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm worried about him being able to stay healthy. Incidentally, a lot of people might not be aware, but I know for a fact he was held back with a hernia this fall.
Yeah, no, they talked about that, yeah.
Okay, I thought they talked about it some.
Yep, they did.
And he said physically he was unable to perform. But he's still a great young man, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Me too.
And I'll be a Jackson Stratton fan wherever he goes, because it would not shock me if he's a starting quarterback somewhere else next fall.
When you bring up running the ball against UCLA, Kirk mentioned a couple of press conferences ago when he was talking. That loss and the Michigan State loss were just two losses last year that were just kind of hard to explain. But Kirk basically said they did not enter that UCLA game with the right frame of mind to stop the run. They just assumed that UCLA wasn't going to be able to run the ball because they hadn't, and you can't do that at this level. And Kirk said that a couple of weeks ago. He just said we were not in the right frame of mind to play that game. And UCLA, that just shows you, though, Don, how tough the competition is, even if the opponent isn't perceived as being very good.
Yeah, you better come ready, because nothing's going to come easy. And if you don't believe that, just ask Michigan State.
Yeah, no, it's stunning how quickly that program has fallen. So what do you think? Do you think Lane Kiffin wins a national title at LSU? Because if he doesn't win one in 3 or 4 years, they're probably going to fire him, aren't they? Isn't that pretty much how they operate?
Yeah, it is.
You think he'll? What do you think?
You know what bothers me about all this? I texted Matt Engelbert yesterday, and I said, "Matt, are you in Oxford or are you in Baton Rouge?" And he texted back and he said, "I'm in Oxford, but it's safe to say that our coach is probably headed for Baton Rouge." And at the time it wasn't official, and they made it official, of course, yesterday. And what disappoints me, and this thing is so discombobulated. The obvious question is, why don't we have a rule that says if you're in line to be a playoff team, nobody can touch your coach, nobody can even offer your coach a job until you're done with your season. That would be a good rule to pass. Obviously, Ole Miss would prefer that there not be any of this shake-up here before the playoffs. And I think Lane Kiffin would prefer it that way too.
Well, he wanted to coach. He wanted to coach for Ole Miss, but they said no. You're leaving. You're gone. That's what Ole Miss said. He wanted to coach.
And I think, do we know for sure that the defensive coordinator is going to be just the interim? Or
no, it sounds like he's going to be the
sure.
I read yesterday that he's going to be the permanent head coach.
Okay. Well, to me, that's a risky venture, because I'm pretty sure the guy, for what I know, he's never been a head coach. And you've heard me say before, be careful when you hire a coordinator. If he's never been a head coach, be careful that you know what you're doing, because obviously, the first time you do it, you better demonstrate that you can do it well, because most people don't get a second chance.
There's also
I remember what Nick Saban told me one time. He said, if you haven't been fired yet, it's just a matter of time. He said, hell, I've been fired too. I mean, the point is everybody's been fired at one time or another, it seems.
Yeah, Nick didn't have success as the Dolphins coach. I mean, they were glad he was gone. I just think he was better suited for college with the way he did things. I just don't know if that would have worked in the NFL. But I wanted to ask you, too, what happened to Oklahoma State? How did they become so bad so fast with all that money?
That's a good question. They say that Gundy's a surefire college football Hall of Fame guy.
How?
Well, obviously it's based on something other than the last 2 or 3 years. I don't know. I'm guessing part of the problem is that, I'll say it this way. I remember one time talking to Carol Stoops, Bobby's wife.
Mm-hmm.
She was talking to Lisa about it, and she said, isn't it funny? A lot of schools, after about 10 years, they find themselves thinking, maybe we can do better than this guy. And she's talking about an OU fan thinking that about Bob Stoops.
Mm-hmm.
And, she said, how silly is that to think that way, because my husband hasn't changed. He's still the same great coach he was a year or two ago. But she called it the 10-year itch. They've had you for 10 years, and even if you're doing well, they think, well, maybe we can find a guy that can do better. Let's try to be sure we don't have any coach stick around for longer than he should. Let's get rid of him before he demonstrates that we should get rid of him. And I would say that OU should have kept Bobby Stoops even longer. And I don't remember how that happened. I don't think they pushed him out really, but I can't remember exactly how.
No, I was surprised he left, to be honest with you. I mean, and that one I did not see coming.
I think, I don't really know why. I do know, I still think, I don't know how old Bobby is now, but
he's about 66.
He would be really good for anybody to hire to get their program back on track, if you will. Because he would do it in a short amount of time just because he knows how to do it.
Well, nobody cares about age anymore. Age doesn't really.
That's a great example for players and coaches.
Age doesn't really matter anymore either. I mean, it doesn't, because kids live semester to semester now. They just live in the moment. They don't look down the road. So, I'm sure Bobby Stoops would have people lined up. Yeah, he's about 65, 66. But, Don, he seems to like doing what he's doing in the XFL. He doesn't seem to need the attention and what have you. I'll tell you what, his brother Mark's in trouble at Kentucky. That thing is starting. Yeah. That thing's starting to unravel. I'm not sure if it'll be interesting to see how much longer he hangs around.
Yeah, I'm afraid for Mark. And you've already been talking about it. I've talked about it candidly. The late 90s, as Hayden got older, you couldn't blame guys like Murray Alvarez and Dan McCartney.
No.
And Bill Snyder.
Career advancement.
They had opportunities to become head coaches, and they left. And it just gets. I'm sure that Mark has come across some of that too. He'd like to keep coaches, but it's hard to keep them because they have a chance to be head coaches too if you have success.
No, you're right.
And I don't know any particulars about the Kentucky staff, but I suspect that's been part of Mark's problem. It's been hard to keep some of his best coaches because they want to be head coaches themselves, and they move on and pursue, their own personal goals.
Yeah, I'm guessing if Barry Alvarez would have had a chance to be Hayden's defensive coordinator like in the mid-'80s, he probably would have stayed at Iowa. But Bill Brazier was still there and still had another 10 years of great coaching. So, yeah, a lot of it's just where you are at that point in your career and what have you. So, yeah, I'm trying to think if we've got – I can't believe we've killed almost another hour of great football discussion. Is there anything else that we're not talking about from this past weekend that happened football-wise? Is there anything else that you wanted to cover, Don, that we haven't brought up?
Yeah, let me make a comment about one game.
Okay.
And I was in another part of the house for a minute, so let me talk and walk at the same time. It simply involves Rutgers and Penn State.
I watched a little bit of that.
My heart goes out to Rutgers because I have great respect for Greg Schiano. Sometimes you feel like you're just destined to lose the game. In this game, Rutgers and Penn State 40-36, right?
Yeah, and that poor quarterback for
Rutgers. How the scoring went in the game.
Yeah, I watched the big.
Okay, you watched it even. Well, the winning touchdown, as you probably know, then was a 61-yard fumble return.
Yeah, fell out of the quarterback's hands.
Yeah, and in that game, Rutgers, you do recall them having a really good offense. They gave us some trouble.
Oh yeah,
outstanding receivers. They had 8 explosive plays, 4 of which were super explosive. The only problem, they gave up 5 super explosive plays.
That was a fun game to watch.
Oh my God, there were 9 plays total that were 30 yards and longer. But Penn State had 4 that were over 50 yards.
I know, and now they're bowl eligible.
So it was a track meet. Incidentally, one of the big reasons we won the game, if you want to zero in on one reason, it was the difference in red zone scoring. We were down there 4 times. We scored 4 touchdowns.
Hey, Don, can I interrupt? I just got a text. Mark Stoops has been fired.
Oh, God, I'm sorry to hear that.
Let me see. Go ahead. I'm going to look.
I understand that it happens.
Let me see. But no, Don, I was surprised at how bad Penn State's defense looked.
Yeah. Yeah, they were horrible. I mean, Rutgers is a good offense. Incidentally, there were more than 1,000 yards total offense in that game. Penn State had over 500, but Rutgers had even more. Rutgers had maybe 530 or 540, I think. Rutgers won total offense. They had 8 explosive plays. Penn State had 7 explosive plays, but 5 of those 7 were 40 yards or more.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, getting back to our game, we had 6.0 per opportunity, 4 touchdowns on 4 opportunities. Nebraska was in the red zone 5 times, more than us, but only averaged 3.0. They had 1 touchdown and 3 field goals and 1 failure to score at all. And you remember that play.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they knew they were jinxed. They couldn't even get a touchdown at the end of the game. We knocked the ball out, and then we recovered it for a touchback in the end zone.
Yeah,
and that was Godfrey causing the fumble, I do believe.
Godfrey had a heck of a game.
And then fumble recovered by Brian Allen.
Brian Allen, yeah.
Coincidentally, projects to be the starter for next year at defensive end.
That's the next man in philosophy. They were injured. I mean, TJ didn't play. Intringer went out. Their secondary was battered, but Rashad Godfrey, a redshirt freshman from Florida, he rose to the occasion. I think he led him with 9 tackles. But I'm reading the Stoop stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of people are acknowledging that he put Kentucky back on the map. And let's face it, Don, Kentucky's not an easy place to win football games at. It's just not, and never will be.
Yeah, Kentucky has some of the same problems Iowa does. We simply don't have nearly as much population as some other states. And that's part of Kentucky's problem. They're probably maybe the least popular state in the SEC, certainly among them. I guess Arkansas would be short on population, too.
Well, he finishes up as the winningest coach in program history, 72-80, and gets a $36 million buyout.
God, that ain't bad.
Yeah.
I
didn't hear you chuckle. He said, walk away. Are you kidding? I'm not walking away.
Yeah.
And maybe something. No, I think I'll be happy to take them up on their buyout.
Oh, more power to them. That's all about doing business. Well, Donnie, great stuff again. And like I said, we'll do this one time. Once we get all the bowl stuff, we'll do a pre-bowl and then a post-bowl to kind of wrap up the whole season, if that works for you. Once we find out who they're going to play. Well, like I said, the week going into the bowl game, we'll do a show maybe on the week, a few days before the bowl, and then we'll do a recap once the season's over.
I'm ready to hear you say a few days before the bowl, because what I was afraid you were going to say, Pat, is the bowl pairings will be announced. I assume they'll maybe be announced next Sunday.
Yeah, we don't need to do anything that soon. Wouldn't you like to get a little closer to the game?
Well, I need to pour through the analytics.
Yes.
So it takes time to do all that.
Yeah.
So I'd rather do a preview closer to game time.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
And for that matter, what I might do, just because I'm curious myself, I might run the analytics on our game in Indy next weekend, because I am curious. I'd be willing to bet you now I'm going to be able to look at 8 games. I might even include more than 8 for both. For sure, the 8 conference. I'm sorry, 9. They played 9 conference games.
Yeah.
I'll look at the 9 Indiana conference games and the 9 Ohio State conference games. And you know what I'm hoping for? I'm hoping for 1 or 2 parameters that are 100% win. So just for the sake of argument, if it's total offense, if the team with the most total offense, when you add those two schedules together, is 18-0, then I'd say the team with the most total offense is going to win the game.
Okay, well,
it's been that way in all 9 games on the part of both of them. So it's hard to imagine it might not apply to the game next Saturday in Indy.
Yeah, I got to see, because I know the
I
Iowa men.
The analytics might be interesting, and I'd be willing to bet the analytics will hold up in that game too.
I know the Iowa men.
I just don't know what they are. Yeah.
I know the Iowa men play Maryland on Saturday too. I'm just not sure what the times are. The football game's at night, isn't it? 7:00.
I think so. I'm sure it is, because I've heard people talking about an incredible day of sports for Indiana. the IU men, as I understand it, are playing in Indy in the afternoon, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot going on Saturday.
Morning. Yeah, and so if you're an IU fan, you can afford it. You can watch IU men versus Louisville, I think it is.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, the nosebleed seats for the championship game are about $400, and you want to sit down close to the 50. It's $2,600 right now.
Wow, more power to you if you can afford it. All right, well, Donnie, great stuff as usual. We, like I said, I'll be in touch with you, and we'll figure out a date as we get closer to the bowl game to do the pre-bowl game show, and we'll go from there.
And the thing I'm excited about with the bowl game, my guess is, based on what I've read and heard, we'll go to Florida somewhere, and we'll probably play an SEC team. And based on so many teams being good in the SEC, I think there's a really good chance we'll play a team that's probably going to be favored to beat us.
Yeah, I could see that.
I like that because it's one more chance for our guys to go out and achieve, like I know they always prepared to achieve, and that's to surprise people with how well they can play.
Okay, Donnie, great stuff as usual. Like I said, I'll be in touch, and we'll set up a show as we get closer to the bowl game. Outback Bowl is my guess, what I'm hearing. Or not Outback, Reliant Quest, I'm sorry. Same.
Are you still here in Tennessee, or is it like that?
Well, I've seen Vanderbilt. Like I said, when I Googled, opponents for the bowl game, and AI came up right away and said, it's more than likely going to be Iowa versus Vanderbilt, but who knows? I mean, not until it's official, we'll see. But, okay, well, I'll be in touch, and we'll look forward to a pregame show, Don. Thanks again.
You bet. Always a pleasure, guys.
All right, thanks.
Okay, well, also, Lane Kiffin is leaving Ole Miss to go to LSU.
What's that?
Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss to go to LSU.
What do you mean? I know, that was yesterday.
Well, they just broke into it today.
Well, yeah, but it was broke yesterday, and we talked about it earlier on the show.
Yeah, he's not going to coach the playoff game.
You must not have been listening.
I was.
I'm just saying. No, I
was in the.
But it wasn't like break.
I wasn't in the bathroom.
That's not breaking news, as we discussed it earlier.
Okay.
He wanted to coach in the bowl game or in the playoffs, and Ole Miss told him to get lost. They've hired the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And Lane flew in 2 planes with his family to LSU, and they're paying him.
I remember that now.
They're paying him $12.5 million.
But I just got the bulletin from CNN.
It's now just becoming official, but it's been out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it broke yesterday, and it was trending this way. It looked obvious. And I'm not a huge Lane Kiffin fan. I've never have been. But, I mean, the guy's won, and if someone's offering you $12.5 million to coach football, you take it. And LSU probably is a notch above Ole Miss. Sorry, Ole Miss, but it's a program with more recessors, more tradition, better players in Louisiana than Mississippi. Okay. Louisiana's got some of the best high school talent in the country.
I just want to go on the record that I was in the transmitter room.
Okay.
Huh? What were you doing there? Pooping?
Huh? Yes.
God, I hope not.
Yes, I took a big Duke in the transmitter.
There you go. All right, let's take a break.
Okay, we'll be back.
1-800-800-ROSE.
1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist is the only number you need to know to send flowers anywhere in the country or Canada from anywhere in the country.
1-800-800-ROSE.
It's so easy. Just remember one number, 1-800-800-ROSE, your FTD florist.
1-800-800-ROSE.
Remember.
Just about the time Willa Dickens began as a watchmaker at Herteen and Stocker Jewelers, a romantic notion was blooming in 1940s America. The idea that a diamond, like love itself, is precious and lasting. More than ever before, proposals began including twinkling rings in velvet-lined Herteen and Stocker boxes. Decades of engagements and countless shimmering rings later, happy, nervous hands are still accepting these promises of always from Herteen and Stocker. The designs are always modern and fresh, but the service is still as exceptional as it was in those very early days. Perhaps that rare blend of past and present is the reason Herteen and Stocker has been voted best jewelry store in Iowa City 8 years running. Stop and see what's sparkling in those famous windows at Herteen and Stocker Jewelers, corner of Dubuque and Washington in downtown Iowa City. Then step inside and say hi to Willa, Terry, Tim, or Kate. One of them is always there.
Don't wait for an emergency to get a backup for your car keys. Unlike the olden days, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's eKeys for Cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys that are on the market today. For spares and lost keys, Mike's eKeys for Cars can produce most conventional transponder, high security, and remote head keys. Mike's eKeys for Cars will keep you on the road. Call 319-330-9185 and schedule an appointment today. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 319-330-9185 today.
Hi, this is Jill Sterner with Sterner Taxidermy in Lone Tree. It's hunting season again, and I'm inviting all of you hunters to follow us on our Facebook page. You can view Dirk's award-winning artistry, his workmanship that he completes with each individual piece. We can be reached at 319-330-1774. Again, 319-330-1774.
Hanging lights is a pain. Dealing with blown bulbs, dangerous installations, and the endless rat's nest of cords, there's got to be a better way, and now there is. Illuma Lights permanent outdoor lighting from Big Dog Tech. Illuma Lights provides illumination for every occasion. Holiday lighting, accent lights, security, and of course, lighting for the best season, football season. The Illuma Lights app lets you create your own patterns with color, motion, brightness, and static control over every individual light, or use Big Dog's presets to transform your home or business. The professionally installed track system makes Illuma Lights LEDs virtually disappear until you turn them on. Rated at 50,000 hours, you'll enjoy stress-free convenience for years to come. No more ladders, no more hooks, no more wifey's dirty looks. That's the song you'll be singing all year long with Illuma Lights permanent outdoor lighting from Big Dog Tech. Find out more at BigDogTek.net or call 319-395-0800.
Hi, I'm Jim Street, owner of Streets Maintenance. As a licensed, insured, and bonded master plumber, I specialize in all plumbing repairs, including but not limited to water heater and sump pumps to toilet and faucet repairs and replacements. As an Iowa City native, I know how frustrating it can be when any part of your plumbing system breaks down. That's why I only use trusted brands and quality materials. I offer same-day, next-day service coupled with a fair price. I also offer general services to mobile homes. For more information about my business, I'm online at streetsmaintenance.com and Facebook, or give me a call at 400-4483, 400-4483.
Streets Maintenance, honest plumbing at a fair price.
Once upon a time, in the land of the Hawkeyes, a business grew. A business that would become synonymous with real estate. Hi, I'm Steve Anderson of Hawkeye Title and Settlement. When you're buying or selling your home, you'll need title and settlement services. Consider the Hawkeye Title and Settlement team. Give us a call at 351-8600. Hawkeye Title and Settlement, the team you love, the people you trust.
It's that wonderful time of the year. Moments of eating too much, spending time with family, in some cases maybe even trying to avoid family. However you choose to celebrate, the Diamond Dental team of Dr. Forbes, Kate, Michelle, and Michaela would like to wish everyone a happy, healthy, and safe holiday. Here is hoping you enjoy every minute of this joyous time of the year. Rest assured, Diamond Dental is here, providing superior care for your entire family during the holiday season and all year long.
This is Leah Pasha, and I've been saying, hit a deer, call Premier, for years. But it's time for something new. It's still where you need to go for deer divots and door dings, as well as damaged dashboards. That's what my dad Nathan's driving at and dreams about. Why not say, when your car is dinged, be a deer and call Premier? I think Dad's going to love that. Premier Automotive, North Liberty's premier auto body repair shop.
Be a deer and call Premier Auto Body in North Liberty. When you go to a family restaurant, you want three things. One, a wide selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. Two, you want those selections to be affordable and delicious. And three, you want to be treated like family. You get all three at the Midtown Family Restaurant. Breakfast items available anytime the doors are open. Legendary tenderloins, onion rings, and hot roast beef sandwiches. Daily specials at each location, and no matter if you're coming in solo or with a group of 20, you get the same special family treatment. The Midtown Family Restaurants at Court and Scott Streets and at the Walmart Plaza on Highway 1 West. Follow them on Facebook or at MidtownFamily.com. The family's waiting for you.
Diamond Dream Sports Academy, 20,000 square foot indoor facility, holds 8 batting cages, space for infield work, space for throwing and pitching, and all your arm care needs. Offers private instruction, group lessons, camps and clinics, leagues, memberships. Rentals available at Diamond Dreams is open to the public.
Our top-level instructors include former professional, college, and Olympic athletes. Our coaches will help these athletes achieve their full athletic potential, develop a strong work ethic, and a solid base to build. The last thing you want to do is look back and wish you had worked or played harder.
Locally owned and established in 2005, Diamond Dreams is Eastern Iowa's premier training facility. Located at 2905 Stoner Court, North Liberty. Call today and reserve your time. 319-665-2173. 319-665-2173.
GT Carr, owner of Supple's Building and Remodeling, has been offering unmatched service and quality for over 25 years. The trained professionals at Supple's Building and Remodeling will install and guarantee the products used in any job, no matter how big or small. They also stand behind their work and offer no-nonsense, exceptional customer service from design to completion and beyond. Whether it's a simple window replacement or a major house addition, you'll have the confidence that Supple's Building and Remodeling is committed to quality. Visit suples.net or call them today at 319-337-2246.
Hi, this is Tiffany at Senior Benefits. Are you confused with Medicare questions, anything having to do with Medicare? I take care of all Medicare customers, people under 65. I also do life insurance, long-term care, cancer insurance. I'm here to help you navigate any questions that you may be having or frustrations and anxiety that you may have with Medicare or insurance in general. Give me, Tiffany Rao, a call at 319-631-4795.
When someone is kind enough to share their time with us, we better make it worth their while.
They don't want to do the, people call it the game, right?
Patrick Gades and Terry Adams of Deary Brothers Ford talk about what here for you means to them.
You don't have to spend a half a day in our dealership to get that good competitive price. We just want to try to deliver that to you up front.
And that makes me feel good, makes me proud.
Because that's what people want. They want a fair, honest deal.
As far as a statement here for you, we want to not just say it, but live it.
Find out what it means to you at Deary Ford in Iowa City.
You hungry? The Oxyokin Sunday Brunch Buffet offers so many choices of fresh entrees, homemade salads, waffles, omelets made to order, pastries, 3 tiers of desserts, and much more. Such a great value. You can always eat out, but not every place serves an experience. Serve 9 until 2. See you this Sunday. You'll always leave happy at the Oxyokin in the heart of Amana.
The Oxyokin.
From the Hertine and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Hertine and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
Meteorologist Rodney Price will see some snow for the afternoon. Accumulations expected to be in that 1 to 3 inch range, so nothing like the previous system we had come through. Highs this afternoon in the mid-20s, a light south breeze of 5 to 10. Snow will end this evening, mostly cloudy skies overnight, near 10 above. Partly sunny sky Tuesday, highs in the upper 20s. That's the forecast on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Right now, it's 19.
KCJJ weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
Here we're back.
More snow. Oh, sorry, wrong mic. There you go.
No, more snow, 1 to 3 inches.
Yeah, nothing.
That's nothing. Nothing.
May not even shovel. I may just let it sit there. I mean, what did we end up getting Friday and Saturday?
9 to 10 inches.
Yeah.
Okay. It kind of came in. It was sort of steady. I mean,
yeah.
I just stayed in front of it, shoveling it. About 2 hours into it, I went out and shoveled the first time. Then after that, all you're doing is. It's really easy after that, but I did probably 3. We got Fridays when it snowed mostly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, I spent most of the day Friday shoveling snow 3 or 4 times, but it was never that bad because I didn't let it get that bad. And it wasn't brutally cold. I thought yesterday, I was worried that I was going to freeze my ass off walking to the arena for the women's game, but it wasn't that bad.
It's going to get cold this week.
No, the wind finally died down.
Well, I
Sunday.
thought, wasn't last night the low supposed to be like -2 or something?
It was originally, but
no, it wasn't. No. Yesterday was actually, it wasn't that cold walking to the arena.
Thursday is supposed to be really cold overnight?
Wednesday, 9 below. Thursday, 4 below.
That's the lows or that's the highs?
Those are the lows.
What are the highs, like in the teens?
Thursday, I think it's still in the
8
single
above.
digits, yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be cold.
But other than that, 33 Wednesday, 27 tomorrow, 33 Wednesday, 8 on Thursday, mid-20s Friday, around 30 on Saturday.
So no melting. We're not going to have any. The snow looks like it's going
to be here for a while.
Looks like it's going to be here probably till March.
Like Christmas.
Yeah, I like snow on Christmas.
Yeah. And then the 26th, goodbye.
Yeah.
Well, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I covered the Iowa women yesterday. Fairfield lived up to their reputation.
Damn, what a bunch of gunslingers.
They gave them a nice little test. Iowa withstood the test, even though they were shorthanded, winning 86-72. That team took 39 three-point shots and made 18 of them. They were very efficient. They were gritty, and it was a good test for Iowa. They survived it, and I'll give credit to the fans who came out. There was obviously the weather had something to do with it, but there was still a decent showing. I'm guessing there were 6,000 to 8,000 fans there. Gave them a nice home court edge, but now they're 8-0 for the second straight year under Jan. And I believe now she's 31-11 as the Iowa head coach. She went 23-11 last year. 8, yeah. So things are going good right now. They need to get Chit Chat back day to day. They will. They'll get her back at some point. And but then of course the men. I missed the McCollum Zoom today at 9 because of this radio show, and Iowa's going to send me an audio of it. They're helping me.
I don't know what to tell you.
You don't care though that I'm missing all this stuff.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all.
What if I would have called in and said, hey, I'm going to be a half an hour late because I got to do the McCollum Zoom? What would you have said? Absolutely not.
Dock you.
Dock you? You going to answer this?
Yeah, I guess. Hello.
Hello. I thought Fairfield did a pretty good job with some of their threes.
Yeah, they made 18 of them. So, yeah, they did a pretty good job.
No, I was wondering, when I watched the Nebraska game and they went for their touchdown right off, I thought, oh, no. But that's the only thing they ever did the whole game.
Yeah, I didn't panic. They're not very good.
And I was wondering, at the Ohio State game, after the game was over with, the Ohio State players went over there and were sitting up there with their fans.
Yes, they were.
And all the Michigan people were, they said, guarding the M. What was Ohio State going to do with the M?
There was concern that Ohio State were going to try to plant their flag on the Michigan logo.
Put their flag on the M.
But I'll give Ryan Day credit. He didn't let it happen. And he went and talked to the Michigan head coach at midfield and said, Sharon, you got to get your we can't have these. See, at Ohio State or at Michigan Stadium, the players come out of the same tunnel, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what they said.
And they were trying. Ryan Day knew that if those teams were going off the field at the same time, that there could be trouble. So he and Sharon Moore worked it out to where they went separately. But Day did not let the Ohio State players do that, which I thought was a pretty good thing to do. You didn't need to do that. They already won the game. You don't need to rub it in.
Yeah, because I saw afterwards they jumped down and they were kind of walking in. It looked like Day was saying, go, go.
Yeah, and there's no problem with the players going up and celebrating with their fans. They have every right to do that. But planting the flag on their logo, that's not good.
And then what do you think of us finally losing to Iowa State in wrestling?
I wasn't that surprised. I mean, it was going to happen sooner or later. But, yeah, it's just, I know Iowa fans are frustrated just judging from some of the comments I've seen on social media, but, it happens. It just...
Well, I told my sister, I said, well, we lost to them, but their coaches were all Iowa guys.
Yeah, that doesn't... I'm sure that doesn't make losing any easier, but no, that Kevin Dresser was a good wrestler at Iowa. I saw that Keeter lost, and I was thinking, wow, but then the guy he lost to is ranked number 1.
Well, he lost 11-4. They were happy that he didn't lose 11-3. Because that would have been a major, but then it didn't help anyway.
Well, the guy he lost to, I didn't realize was ranked number 1 in the country. So no, Iowa State's got a good team. It's not like they lost to a bad team.
Well, Drake even lost.
But that Drake. Oh, Drake Ayala. Yeah, the guy he lost to is pretty good. But yeah, that was enough. But yeah, no, it's just they got some.
So what is it? Iowa State's just kind of packed in some good wrestlers there.
Well, yeah, they've done a good job of building their program, and Iowa's just got to get better, obviously. But
they're going to have to get on the ball somewhere, yeah.
And then meanwhile...
Okay, well, you guys have a good day. Don't go sliding around in the snow.
And then meanwhile, Penn State continues to be in another galaxy. Yep. But no, that was not a good... Hawkeye fans, I could tell, they're frustrated.
Oh, they're real frustrated.
Fire Brands, but who are you going to hire? I mean, who are they going to get? Cale Sanderson ain't coming here. David Taylor just took the Oklahoma State job. So, I mean, firing is not always the answer, but
it's always brought up with anything.
But not to Brands' face. A lot of those guys say that on Twitter. They wouldn't say it to Brands' face.
No.
Now, in fairness, though, fans have a right to expect better. I mean, Iowa wrestling is not trending in the right direction right now, guys. Now, there isn't much margin for error when you're a former dynasty, and if you finish anything below first or second, fans are pissed. That's a tough situation to be in, but that's the situation it is with Iowa wrestling, and Iowa State beat them.
Yep.
They just beat them 20-14. They beat them because they had a better lineup that day.
Incidentally, even though you didn't have a show Saturday, Karn did call in.
Good.
And checked up on me.
Okay.
So it's really nice of her.
Were you by yourself Saturday?
Yeah. Tommy took the remote equipment home, and so.
So did you spend the night here?
I got here Friday night right when the snow started, and I went home Sunday morning.
Good God, there's got to be laws against that. Isn't there? There's got to be.
Well, I could have tried to get back and forth, but why bother?
There's got to be labor violations in that.
Not at all.
Did you pay him overtime?
No, not at all.
Gave me a huge bonus.
Did you pay him?
He said, "Here's Pat's bonus for next year."
Pat's bonus. Pat's bonus. Yeah.
So, what do you think of Audie Crooks?
She's good.
47.
She had 47. She had 43. It's going to be the Iowa State women's game is going to be a lot of fun.
It is
to see what Ava. I just hope Ava can avoid getting into foul trouble because she has a tendency to do that, and Audie's she's unstoppable, and she makes it look so easy, even though it's not easy. I mean, she's got leverage, and of course, she has size. I get, she takes a beating on social media, man.
She does, with the weight thing. I mean,
it's just ridiculous.
She seems like such a good kid, and I'll tell you, the weight helps her.
Oh, for sure.
Leverage, strength, and everything.
Shaq wasn't very skinny either.
No, but Audie she's big.
Yeah.
She's big, but, whatever. Who cares? Yeah. She's a fun player to watch. If she was at Iowa, those same people ripping her would love her. I mean, that's just the way. And those aren't, it's not, I'm not saying it's Iowa fans. I just see on social media a lot of people will just say nasty things about her because of her appearance. And that just, she's a kid, man.
Exactly.
I don't get that. I
don't either. She's lost weight since she's been
But
playing.
she's just.
But but the first thing
you always hear, she is a big person, whether she's heavy or she's big bone. She's just a big person, and I don't know why that has to be.
I don't know
criticized.
Because she's a hell of a player.
But I've also seen a lot of Hawkeye fans give her praise too. It's going to be a good game, and I think she's from Iowa, she's from Algona, she's somebody to take pride in. Now, if you're Iowa, you want to beat her ass. I get it. You want to win that game. You want to win that game, and you want to figure out a way to shut her down. It'll be interesting to see what Jan does. My big concern with Iowa is going to be foul trouble. Now, they do have Layla Hayes for 5 fouls. They can throw 2 6'4" and 6'5" girls at Audie through that whole game, so she's going to have to work for her points. But just these people on social media and who knows, a lot of it could be a 14-year-old kid down in his, you don't know. I would like to think that's not adults.
Oh, no, I differ with you there.
Yeah, they're playing Iowa State a week from Wednesday.
Yeah.
In Ames, 6 o'clock.
But I've seen people that aren't even like Iowa fans or Iowa State fans, just people from just nowhere chime in on her and just make fun of her.
Well, that's all social media
What is the point in doing that? I don't get it. And I'll tell you, she's learned she's one of the best players in the country.
Yeah, no, she really is.
No, and again, her size, her girth helps. Players bounce off her. She's just so strong, but she's also incredibly skilled. So, no, that's going to be a good game. And Iowa's had Iowa State's number here lately, so it'll be interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised if Iowa went over there and won that game. Iowa's, as long as they can get Chit Chat back healthy and they need Emily Rodriguez back, Iowa's got a good roster. They've got a good, diverse, deep roster when they're all healthy. And yesterday was a good test that they survived. And it was a noon game, so I was home before 4. What do you think of that? Home before 4.
Nice.
With everything done.
Kylie Feuerbach had a season record or career tie.
She tied her career high from Iowa State with 17. She made 4 threes all in the second half. They were huge, too.
Oh, yeah.
Because every time that team would make a mini run, someone from Iowa would make a big basket. It was just nice to see her do it because they're going to need that because teams are going to sag off her until she starts making them consistently. And I thought Addie Deal had some nice moments again. She had 9 points. And Journey Houston came in the first half and had a great first half. She and Addie they both had 7 points in the first half. But Fairfield made 6 threes in the first quarter and 9 in the fourth. All 27 of their points in the fourth quarter were scored on threes. Just wild threes from like 25 feet.
Just incredible.
And then Stremlow got a technical. I think she kind of got a little too much exuberance after she blocked that shot. It was right in front of the official. But that's okay. And like Jan said, Jan's like, she's not much of a trash talker. And Jan's like, and I've coached some trash talkers. Obviously, who do you think she's referring to?
Yeah.
I thought right away of Caitlin. I thought right away of Caitlin.
Yeah,
but
she said it was mostly just
a display of emotion.
Location. I mean,
but she did it too close to the player's face.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the player got mad, too. But Caitlin was the ultimate trash talker, just like Larry Bird was, because she could back up everything she said. Even in the game she lost in the NCAA championship, she was still stellar, her performance. But Larry Bird, when I watch some of these NBA documentaries, a lot of these players say that nobody was a bigger trash talker than Larry Bird. I mean, he was constantly talking.
I remember that.
Constantly talking trash. Like when he went to the NBA All-Star three-point shoot contest, he walks in saying, "Who's finishing second?" He walked into the locker room when all the guys were getting ready, and he wanted to know who was going to finish second. He did. He went out there and won it. And when he made the last shot to win it, right after he flicked the ball off his wrist, he started walking away because he knew it was going in, and it went in.
That's so wild.
That's trash talking. But, yeah, that was a good game, and I'll tell you, Taylor Stremlow has really risen to the challenge by her play at point guard without chit-chat. It's nice to know that they have her as a backup plan, and she can play the position. She's got a little bit of Caitlin in her. She threw a really nice pass to Hannah Stolke, who unfortunately missed it like she sometimes did with Caitlin. Remember, Caitlin could have probably had another 200 assists in college if they wouldn't have missed so many buddies in transition.
Yeah.
But sometimes your speed's going so fast, it's hard to get that ball up there. But, no, Taylor's, though, she's got a lot of skill. She can do a lot of different things in that backcourt. So, yeah, the women are 8-0. The men, they got a big challenge tomorrow, and it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, Ben McCollum probably aspires to be like Tom Izzo. Grew up in Michigan. He didn't go to Michigan State, but he kind of he got that dream job, and he's been there ever since. My guess is Ben would love to do at Iowa what Tom Izzo's done at Michigan State. Ben didn't go to Iowa either, but it's sort of been his dream job. Now he has it. How they got here was different. Izzo spent 2 years as a high school coach, and then he was an assistant at his alma mater in Northern Michigan for about 3 or 4 years. Then he got hired at Michigan State and has never left. Now Ben, he was a head coach for 14 years in Division II, then 1 year at Drake. The way they have both got their kind of dream jobs has been different, but it'll be interesting to see. Because to me, Izzo would be a model for what Ben hopes to do at Iowa. Because I could see Ben, if he does have a lot of success here at Iowa, I could see him staying for 30 years like Izzo did at Michigan State. Izzo's had so many chances to leave, but he hasn't. Let's just hope that Ben's in that situation someday where he's having to fight off suitors to stay at Iowa. I mean, because I don't see Ben coaching in the NBA. That doesn't seem to be. Maybe he will, but to me, Ben seems built to be here for the long run. He really seems like this is the job he wanted, and we'll see. Let's just hope, though, that he's successful enough to where, other schools may be coming after him.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's a big game tomorrow night. Start Big Ten play these early, and then they play Maryland on Saturday. Then they go back to playing a couple more non-conference games, and then it's full Big Ten after that.
Yeah, FS1 has both the men and women games on Saturday.
Yeah, what time's the men's game?
3, and then the women at 5.
Okay, see that will be, and the women are at Rutgers.
Yes,
and I'm guessing that won't be much of a game, but that'll be good though because I can cover the men's game and then get home in time to watch the Indiana Ohio State game because that's 7 o'clock. Is that 7? Indiana Ohio State.
I would think so. Yeah.
Okay, so I can get home, at least to watch the second half of it. So yeah, the Iowa.
And then Rockford at 9.
I would probably stick with, depending on what the Rockford episode is, I'd probably stick with Indiana, Ohio State. If it's a good, now if it gets one-sided, then boom, I'm right on to Rockford. Especially if it's a good one like Joey Blue Eyes.
God.
What about Joey Blue Eyes? Michael Sansera, remember him?
Yes, I remember the episode. I haven't seen it.
That's probably my favorite Rockford episode.
50 years.
Yep. They pull a fast one on Stryker. What's his name? James Luisi.
Yeah.
He was good in that. Former NBA basketball player.
The whole show it's a good show.
50 years ago, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, there
50
you go.
years ago.
Says a guy who watches what? You watch all those Law and Orders from the 80s and 90s.
No, 90s. They didn't.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
Did you buy the 45 with the theme song? It was a
I
hit?
did not.
I did. I think I still have it.
I've heard that enough.
Mike Post.
I've heard that enough from just watching it. But I've got 2 books on the Rockford Files, and he wrote an autobiography before he passed. That's
did he?
Yeah, pretty good book. I have that too. But there's this book. Some guy wrote a book, and it chronicles every episode, everything you want to know about the Rockford Files. Some guy, his last name is Robertson. I think he's out of San Francisco. This came out. I bought this book like 15, 20 years ago. It's got every episode, everything you want to know about any episode of the Rockford Files.
Cool.
My son co-authored a textbook that's coming out this month.
All right. And then will it get banned?
Huh?
Will it get banned? Or is it woke?
Well, I imagine. Hello.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Hey, is your show over yet?
It is now.
Okay. Hey, what redemption, huh?
What redemption?
We finally saved some face, the Hawks.
What do you? Redemption. They've been beating Nebraska 10 out of 11 times. I'm confused. Explain to me what you're saying.
Nebraska has no heart. They have no teamwork. They've got good individuals, but Christ, when Nebraska fans start walking out of the stadium, they got trouble.
Okay. Yes, they do.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good observation.
Good observation. Getting right to the point.
Yeah, we can all speculate, but Indiana, Ohio State, I think Indiana's going to win. They're in their home state.
Okay.
And then Ohio State will win the crown.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
You heard it here first.
Bonnie Reynolds,
Pardon
my
me?
ass. We got Ollie.
Oh, Pat, go home and mow your yard.
I can't.
That's the joke.
There's 8 inches of snow on it. How can I mow my yard?
Well, you always talk, I got to go mow my yard.
When's the last time I said I have to go mow my yard, Captain?
I-
Never?
Just like 90 minutes ago. I think you were going home.
Okay.
I should have been tuned in.
Yeah?
Yeah. You missed
You missed a lot.
Great. Yeah. Coach P for an hour talking football.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Coach Don. What a man.
Yep.
Pat, you should have been a coach.
No, I should not have. I would not have been a good coach.
That would be a wild team.
It would be a bad team.
No. West Des Moines, Notre Dame. No.
Yeah, no, I should not have been a coach. I appreciate the suggestion, but it would not have been good.
Well, head to Longboat then.
Okay.
Wow.
He's talking Longboat Key. I used to live there in Florida.
Hey, if Suiter's listening, tell him to break the bank.
All right.
There you go.
There you go. All right.
All right. Goodbye, Cowboys.
All right. What do you think of that, Captain? Are you going to say anything?
I like the is the show over yet?
You going to say anything? We went from Coach.
How can I justify buying this thing?
He told me to go home and mow my yard. And I would not be a good coach. It just wouldn't work.
No.
No attention to detail. No staying power. Coaching never ever appealed to me.
I could yell.
I mean, anyone can do that. Yeah. But I mean, you got to be
yell very loud.
A lot.
Play better.
A lot goes into being a coach.
What the hell are you doing out there?
So he picked Indiana to win the Saturday, but then Ohio State to win the national title again. Is that where that?
That's what he said.
Yeah. Could happen. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. So, all right. Well, I think we're going to start having UI athletes again on Wednesday. I'll have to reach out to Matt Weitzel to find out. We didn't have one last week because it was the day before Thanksgiving. Yeah. So I'll let you guys know about that. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No, we talked a little about wrestling. I mean, I wasn't there. I know, like I said, fans are disappointed. But the Fire Brand stuff, it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. And I don't think it should happen. I think that's over. But I get why fans are pissed. I mean, Iowa's no longer the big boy. It's Penn State by a long margin now. And the concern of your Iowa is how far are we from second and third? Are we slipping even further? I mean, I don't think that was necessarily a fluke yesterday. Some of these guys that Iowa got to transfer in here did not put up good performances yesterday. Some of those guys got beat by pretty wide margins. What concerns me with Iowa, they don't score a lot of points. They don't ever seem that aggressive. They don't ever seem like they're on the attack. And what's so weird about that is
the second year we've said that.
But this is weird though because the Brands were always on the attack.
I know.
I mean, sometimes they'd have to cool them down because they were just madmen out there. It was never enough, and now I don't know.
Isn't this the second year?
Well, it's not just the second year. This has been going on for a while, though. They got this style where I don't know. It seems more defensive than offensive. But I'm hardly an expert on wrestling. Plus, wrestlers are scary, so I don't want to say too much. What if Brands came in here to kick your ass? What would you do? Huh? What would you do?
He hasn't been here since we moved back out here.
No.
What would you do though if he came in here and said, "I'm going to kick your ass"? Hunter.
Hunter takes my ass kick.
Lang, Deb, Molly, anyone.
Well, I wouldn't take on Molly.
You think Molly would beat up Brands?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And the rest of us.
She'd humiliate him, wouldn't she? First, without laying a hand on him, right?
Yeah, there you go.
You drove all the way out here to beat up on us? Look at us. She'd embarrass him. Look at us. Have some pride, man. You're
Tim DeWhite about us.
You're a gold medalist. Yeah, so. All right, well, we've got a wrap.
Yeah.
Everybody, stay safe out there. 1 to 3 coming sometime this afternoon?
Yeah, sometime.
Okay.
Yeah, no big deal.
All right.
It'll be slick, so take it easy. HawkFanatic.com. It is free. Check it out.
KCJJ Weather.